Hi, my name is Suika, and I'm essentially nobody on the internet. But due to some current things that have happened recently, I would like to talk about things that I am passionate about, i.e., video games. Something I spend most of my time playing, doing, consuming, existing within. My whole being is consumed by the addiction. Anyway, so I figured it'd be very fitting for me to talk about the first game that really just, I don't know, I wanted to talk about. That's about the only reason I need. And that would be Killing Floor. Killing Floor 3 to be exact, and the all-consuming franchise itself, and just a general consensus and talk about the problems with the current Killing Floor 3 situation. I know, right? Who gives a fuck? Well, unfortunately, I do, kind of. Plus, I gotta do something with my life. So, let's start with where my experience with Killing Floor really came from. My first experience with Killing Floor. Obviously, Killing Floor 1, it was a long time ago. I was young, and I remember Steam, because Steam sales constantly forced me to spend all of my money. Steam had a summer sale on Killing Floor 1 years and years and years ago, and I bought it. And I don't think I slept for the next 30 hours of my life. I played constantly. I remember back in the day bumping Farrell's hit song, Happy, for 24 hours straight and playing Killing Floor. If that's not a marker of mental instability, I don't know what is. But anyway, that was my first touch with the game. Was a big fan of it. It's just your good old classical, straightforward, shoot stuff, reload, shoot stuff, reload, everybody on your team died. Spam slide around the map, run in circles until you can finally kill that rake that's been chasing you for 30 minutes. It's all good fun. I came from, I'm 26, I came from a good era of, like Left 4 Dead, the old Xbox games, real simple stuff. And maybe that's where I'm partially nostalgic about it as we get into the later franchises. Obviously, the next installment of the game would be Killing Floor 2. Killing Floor 2 was, well, something I was excited for, but really not anything to necessarily write home about. I played a lot of it. It was a Killing Floor game. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. Well, loved it more than I hated it, but you get what I'm saying. It seemed to kind of be the same formula. They wanted to just hash and rehash the same stuff that they've done a couple times now. Well, one time now. And it worked. It was alright. It was enjoyable. Wasn't super upset about it. It wasn't the best. Like, obviously, maybe I'm just kind of gonna lean towards Killing Floor 1 because of the nostalgia factor of the game and the general time period that I played it. It was one of the first computer games that I really got, because at the time I didn't have a PC, but I had a computer that could kind of run games. So I obviously, played that. And Killing Floor 2 came at a time where it released on console, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on anything that I say ever. Released on console, got to play it there, had a good old laugh with it, good old time. But moving on to the bigger issue, Killing Floor 3. What to say about Killing Floor 3? I guess I'll start off with the performance of Killing Floor 3. Now, I have an alright computer. I have a 3070, nothing to write home about. I have, I think I have a Ryzen 9 something or another. Actually, I can look. I have an AMD Ryzen 9 5900X, decent. I have 32 gigs of installed RAM, and I have a 3070 with 8 gigs of VRAM. And my computer struggled a bit, albeit some settings, things like that. Always the same with games, especially with the stress test, because we'll be talking about the stress test, because obviously Killing Floor isn't out yet. My computer had some problems with it. I'm so lazy with dealing with the performance issues and everything else that a game is these days, so I just cap my FPS at 60, 90% of the times for a lot of situations like this, so I can record a little bit of gameplay, just try the game out, because I'm really there to enjoy the general core aspects of the game, knowing that this is not a completed product. And I usually have a pretty unbiased opinion, especially considering that most games these days are released in a state of early access, and then they just essentially fizzle out into nothing, and my dreams and hopes and aspirations for the future are usually crushed, and it's awful. But I keep an open mind, because I'm an optimistic kind of guy. But Killing Floor 3's stress test. Let's see. Gameplay. It's Killing Floor. You shoot stuff, you reload, you run in circles for 30 minutes to kill that. Whatever. Run in circles for 30 minutes to kill that flesh mound that's been chasing you. You run in circles for 30 minutes to kite all of the strakes, rakes. I know what I'm talking about. To kill it. And you English isn't my first language. You use a lot of ammo. There's the same class system. You have Commando, Firebug, Engineer, the Sniper, Ninja, and something or another. There's Medic, of course, Medic. But there's classes in this one, unlike the previous games, where it was essentially just a set of guns that would be what you would, what determines your class, what your proficiency would be. At least I think I remember. I haven't played the other games in a while, but I do know that the perk system and the classes are new to this installment of the game. And let me just say, man, I'm just not really a huge fan of the character models, I guess, for some of the characters. They are pretty generic to me, boring. The ninja is a man wearing a ninja mask. He's from Japan, in case you were wondering. The commando is none other than the dude that wore the gas mask from the first game, the second game, and now the third game. How that dude is still alive, I have no idea. If it's the same dude, I have no idea, and I'm too lazy to really look into it past that. The Firebug is a woman named Devlin. You heard me right. It's a woman named Devlin. I think. Mostly sure about that. And it's just your same run-of-the-mill of its generic female character. Whatever. Don't really care. The medic is... I actually don't remember the medic. I know he's of African descent. And actually I do want to know this. Okay. The medic's name is Ori or something like that. I can't read it. The footage I took is I'm too lazy to sift through it to figure out everything. But the medic is Ori or Uri or something like that. The sniper is Liana. Oh god. Okay, we've actually got it now. So obviously you've got Foster. He's the commando. He's always worn a gas mask. He's a man that enjoys a gas mask. Then you've got Devlin, the firebug. Very generic female character. She wears a set of goggles. Nothing really to write home about. Then you've got Imran. Pretty cool character design, I think, personally. He's got a big ass fucking sound wave thing on his back that does sound wave thing stuff that knocks stuff to the ground. Pretty cool. Devlin has to go back a little bit, commando. Foster has a little drone, pops out, shoots stuff, kills things. Awesome. Devlin has a ability to jump and slam the ground and fire ring that ignites the ground in fire. Fire burns stuff dies. Nakata, the ninja that literally looks exactly like a ninja from Japan. I guess that would make sense. He has a grappling hook that allows him to grapple to something, fly to it, stun it, and then hit it, do damage. Luna, I didn't play her. She's the sniper specialist or whatever. She has sniper stuff that she does, and she shoots things and does lots of damage from distance. Sniper. And then Obi, the medic. He does medic things. Didn't play him because I just didn't feel like playing him. I don't know. The character designs are alright. Obi looks cool. Luna looks cool. Nakata, I feel like it's just like, yep, that's a ninja. Imran, cool character design. Devlin, I don't know. I didn't really like it that much. Maybe I'm just sexist. I am not sure. And then Foster. I'm always going to love Foster just because he's your quippy UK asshole, whatever. He's just funny and he's been around since the first game. So, as far as the role of characters, could be worse, could be better. I think I'm just bitter because Devlin is the firebug and I just don't really like her character design, and the firebug is what I play personally. So, moving on. Anyway, back to performance, I guess, is what I was going to continue from. I totally forgot what I was talking about. Every single game wants to do the Unreal Engine 5 thing. Understandably so, it's going to be the newest thing that changes gaming, at least that's what we keep hearing. And then we keep getting unpolished, ridiculously terribly optimized, and horrific displays of Unreal Engine 5, in my personal opinion. Every single time I play a game that's in Unreal Engine 5, it just feels awful. I'm not a huge fan of Unreal Engine 5. Once they figure out all of the problems and everything else, obviously that will be fixed, and hopefully in the future Unreal Engine 5 will be the game-changing and whatever thing that we want it to be. As of right now, like for instance for Killing Floor 3, they were having some problems with their pathing for certain enemies and the way that things would render in and so on and so forth. So they pushed off their release date, which is why we're months after the original release date, and it should be out in I think like 5 or 4 or some amount of days soon. I have no problem with a game with devs pushing out the release for a game. I feel like that's pretty normal, especially if you want to make sure that you're delivering a polished and working game to your fans. What's frustrating, and I don't want to harp on it and be one of those people that, I'm a consumer. I don't know how to code games. I don't know how to do any of these things, and I'm not going to claim to know how to do any of these things. So there is a level of grace that most developers get from me, unless you're AAA like Activision and Treyarch and all of these soul-sucking, useless, absolutely disgusting. Actually, maybe not Treyarch and Activision. Whatever Blizzard is. I think that's Activision now and stuff. But whatever. Blizzard, you suck. Fucking hate you. Moving on. I have no problem with them delivering or pushing out release date to deliver a polished game, a working game, or at least a mostly working game. I don't think anybody should. People these days are going to complain about whatever they're going to complain about, and that's alright, you know. The internet is a horrible, horrible place to be, especially if you try to put anything out on the internet for any kind of person to consume, because there's always people that are chronically online that have no brain and essentially suck on a lollipop all day, and if they don't have their little phone sucker, they will lose their fucking mind. I really don't like people that dwell on the internet constantly. I'm one of them, and I hate myself. But let's talk about some of the issues that will be coming with the full release of the game, because the devs released their article of known issues. Now, quick little side note on releasing a list of your known issues that will be coming with, or most likely coming with the release of the game, and you know, maybe fixed before the release of the game. I like this. I like the transparency from Livewire, I believe is the name of the company. I like this transparency. This is something I feel like you don't see a whole lot. At least they're willing to say, hey, look, these are the things that you can probably expect to be coming out with the game. It's frustrating, it sucks, but at the same time, a little honesty in the world can go a long way, especially from a committed fan of their, you know, franchise from the IP like me. I've played the game since I was a kid. I'd like to participate in playing Killing Floor 3 and in having a reasonably enjoyable experience, considering most games these days are not that enjoyable. They release broken, they release in early access, they grab up all of your money, and then they disappear, you know, a week later, kind of like all of the women in my life. Moving on. Let's see. A couple of the things that they immediately talk about: stability, performance, party, and matchmaking. Players may notice a performance decrease in multiplayer when playing in larger parties. Okay, some people were really complaining about this because, oh well, why would you put 6 people in the game, having 6 players in the game, and blah 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 whatever, if you can't even handle it. I don't really care. I just enjoy playing the game. 6 people feels like a lot to me. It is frustrating that this is a problem that they're going to have, but I'm sure it will be resolved within, hopefully, a reasonable amount of time. Second thing that they post: performance may degrade when repeatedly using ADS with a sniper scope. I don't play the sniper class, so once again, something I guess I'm pretty biased about. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But that is an interesting bug to have. RIP people that want to look down a scope a lot. Just don't quick scope and I guess everything will be fine. Game may lose functionality after player idles in recent player submenu and it exits it. I mean, I understand what that means, but that is a weird bug. Whatever, it is what it is. In longer sessions, a rare GPU-based crash can occur. That sucks. That's not one that I'm really just gonna kind of ignore because, itchy ankle. Anyway, that's one that I'm not really gonna ignore because obviously if you put a lot of time into a round and the next thing you know you're fighting the boss and you have a rare GPU crash occurs, it's frustrating because you're gonna lose all of your progress. That's a problem. Hopefully that's something that they fix. Alt-tabbing can produce instability for some hardware. We see a lot of games that have this issue in my opinion, especially if you're on full screen mode. I usually play everything in borderless, obviously most people do, unless I need that little boost in performance. Just don't alt-tab. Don't have to. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but it'll probably get fixed at some point. Alright, moving on to the next thing. I lost my place on this list. Some users may experience a game crash while map traveling with specific hardware. Please specify the hardware. Kind of weird that you wouldn't, considering now I feel like I might just be flying blind into, I don't know, a crash. Crash pun. Inviting a party leader to a party travels only the leader to the new party. Kind of weird. It's 2025. I think we should be able to not have this problem. There's plenty of games that don't do that. But then again, I don't code anything on the planet and I'm just a useless pleb on the internet. Moving on. Players joining match during AAR places under into broken state. Please fix that. Kind of weird. Player who join a match in progress will see dead headless Ed standing around making sounds. I had this bug happen once. I'll put a clip of it. You'll probably see it on screen now. It's a stress test. It's early access. It is what it is. There was only one that did this. I played for probably 4 hours in total. Kind of a weird bug. I honestly think I've seen this before in other Killing Floor games, whether it be from my connection issues or a bug in the game or whatnot. I'm not really here for the immersion. It's Killing Floor. This is a game that I'm gonna play when I'm absolutely rage quitting off of a competitive something that makes me hate my life. I'm gonna play this game to kind of just sit back and couch potato for a little while to enjoy an environment where I really don't have to use much of my brain. This is why I play video games. Anyway, player may become stuck in the matchmaking screen when back-end services become unavailable. Just restart your game. There's a lot of games that have unacceptable problems like this, and just restart your game is what it is. Please fix these problems. Players might experience a soft lock when interacting with the skills menu. I had this happen. This was weird. I understand that this is a list of problems that they know of right now, and it was a couple days ago, so hopefully that's something that is fixed when the full game releases, because I think the skills actually bring a decent amount of it's a refreshing feel for the game having the skills, because some of them actually change the way that your character acts, interacts, and uses their skills. Your grenade is now twice as big. I can only speak to the fucking firebug because I played the firebug. Somebody hits you, you do a little poof of fire, they light on fire and they die. These are nice little touches to the game. There are a lot of other perks in the game that are better and more impressive than that, because the two that I shared sound extremely lackluster. Anyway, please fix that because I want the skills to work. Remove friend button lacks functionality when attempting to remove a player from the friends list. I don't care. I don't play with friends. I won't make friends on there. I play with friends, but I don't. It is what it is. Usually the people on the friends list are people that you want on your friends list, and if you don't want them on your friends list, just don't look at them. I mean, it's still weird the button doesn't work, but not a big deal. Modded weapons sometimes won't save until you change the name of the weapon loadout, including existing modded weapons. Tough. Deal with it. Name your weapon. Fucking the least you can do as a consumer is to, I don't know, take the side of it where it's like, is this really the biggest deal? So a very small modicum of the game doesn't work. Are you gonna fucking get on Twitter and type about it and freak out and do all this shit? You probably will, because you're a sack of shit. But this doesn't bug me. It will be fixed in the future. It's no game-breaking mod. Who the fuck cares? I'm just here to shoot shit in the face, reload, run around for 30 minutes from that Scrake and that flesh mound that want to rip my face off, smash me to the ground, and make me feel like they're dirty little Zed behavior. In rare cases, bosses can get stuck out of the play space. This one sucks. This has happened in other Killing Floor games that I've played, albeit pretty rarely. It is what it is. Hopefully that's something that will get fixed in the future, because obviously you don't want to be in a 45-minute run. It's stuck out of the play area, you can't kill it, your run's over. It's kind of the same as a GPU crash. This is something that would be extremely frustrating to experience a lot. Now, the entire time that I played the stress test, I didn't have this happen a single time. Not to say that it can't happen. Obviously it's listed in here, so it can. I've seen clips of it on YouTube of it happening. So please fix that. The Flesh Pound loses its ability to destroy doors and walls when missing an arm. Kind of a weird bug, but then again, I hate the Flesh Pounds. I keep saying Flesh Mounds, Flesh Pounds. I don't like the Flesh Pounds. They scare me, they make me feel uncomfortable, and I feel a tickle in my throat when they're around. But it is what it is. That will be fixed. As of right now, there's new meta. ZAI may go brain dead after using the pulse lure. I used the pulse lure to see if this was a problem. I didn't really see it happen personally, and a lot of the times if it did happen, from what I saw, it ended up being like the small useless enemies that take one bullet to kill anyway, so it's like whatever. And honestly, if you're being chased by 2 flesh pounds and a Scrake and one of them goes brain dead, you're probably not going to be the most upset about that. I know if it happened to me, I would have been a lot happier in some situations of me getting ripped by a couple of them. Alright. Confused Husk jetpack explosion cause large amounts of damage that can down nearby players instantly. Okay. Don't really see why that's a problem. That would be a jetpack exploding. I don't know why that's a bug. Anyway, moving on. Impaler attack VFX improperly plays infinitely when players disperse across the map during the boss fight. That's gotta be really fucking annoying. I never dealt with that, but that would be really annoying. I would not like that. That's not enjoyable. I'd probably just take my headset off and continue to fight the boss. There are solutions on your side as a consumer to deal with these problems. Husk can become brain dead if jetpack jump landing is interrupted with affliction. Weird bug, husks are something you shoot and they instantly die anyway. Who the fuck cares? Sometimes explosive rounds don't work on clots and cysts in multiplayer matches. Your explosive rounds don't work? Switch to your normal rounds. Got a secondary? Use that instead. These bugs are frustrating. Clouts and cysts, whatever. They're pretty easy to kill. You can pull your knife out and stab them. These are things that are frustrating to see, obviously, because we want a completed product to be delivered to us, but if you enjoy the game, this is just something that you're going to have to deal with. I'm assuming a lot of these smaller issues are probably going to be fixed by the release of the game. Hopefully. Player movement and interaction. Okay, so this is something I do want to say. Player movement feels not great, not terrible. It's kind of like I'm flying dead stick, Boeing 747 or whatever, big jet. I feel like I am kind of just running. The slide feels like it could be a little bit longer. We know the slide canceling is something that you see in a lot of games these days, so it's like, make the slide canceling feel good. I don't know how to do any of these things, obviously. I'm just griping about a game because I don't have a life, but when you know, like Modern Warfare, like when you used to slide cancel in that game, it carried you gradually with a little momentum. It felt good. The sliding in Killing Floor 3 feels, you run, ding 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 ding, you slide, you jump, and you don't move forward. You stop here. So you run, ding 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 ding, you slide, you jump. Just feels awkward. Those kinds of things, not the biggest deal, but it's always nice because I'm a big movement stick. Like, I enjoy movement in games. It's probably one of the things that draws me in for games to feel the best. That didn't feel the best to me. And I'm griping about it, but, you know, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Anyway, player movement and interaction. Sprinting will not consume if interrupted by ADSing and shooting a few rounds. This one makes no sense to me. Yeah, you're aiming. That's why you're not sprinting. I think they mean if it's toggled, but still. Re-input the input. That's how you continue to sprint. Player can get stuck in state when getting Scrake pulled while mantling. That's kind of weird. I didn't have that happen. I also hate when the Scrake pulls me, because scary chainsaw. Sucks. Hopefully it will be fixed. Swapping an out-of-stock tool at the trader can result in a newly selected tool not being able to be properly filled up on charges. That's frustrating, but then again, play without a tool. You've got a gun, you've got other things to use. Yeah, you should have all these tools. Tool joke. You should have all these things at your disposal, but unfortunately you don't because games are released unfinished these days. Hopefully this is something that's fixed. It's really not that big of a deal to me. But anyway, moving on. Players may experience a rare case where ammo can be consumed from the reserves during the match instead of their primary weapon magazine. And I don't like reloading anyway. Player might get stuck in the slide animation or may be unable to move after sliding with bad packet loss and high ping. Obviously that's a server communication issue. These kind of things happen in games. Hopefully that's fixed. I didn't have it happen, and I mostly ran around slide canceling the entire time, and I live in Alaska, so my ping is horrendous and my packet loss sucks. Explosives are not currently damaging destructible items in game. Okay. There's really not that many destructible items in game. Not that big of a deal to me. Most people gripe about this one. I don't really care. You want a barrel to explode? Shoot the barrel. You want the door to be broken? No, you don't. You want the door to be there so you can block the Scrake without one arm. You know? Whatever. I don't really care about this one. Medic tier 3 darts mods can cancel out the healing grenade launcher mod. Obviously that's just a coding problem or whatever. That's frustrating because obviously if you want the healing, you want the healing to work, but it's not the biggest deal. That will obviously be something that they'll try to fix, or hopefully will be fixed by release. If a user changes their matchmaking settings to private after already joining a party, the player will stop transmitting over VoIP. That's not that weird, that's a privacy thing. I get that it's like on here as a bug, but it kind of makes sense to me if I'm being completely honest. Workaround is to set to the option you want and relaunch the game. Cool. I don't know why that's two separate things. That was confusing. I'm confused sexually. There are known instances of a Firebug's Pyre 357 sidearm becoming unresponsive. Switching to another weapon will restore full use of the sidearm. I had this happen like one time. I barely even realized it was a bug. I just switched to swap back and everything was good. There's only two other issues that are listed here. One is spectator view is broken after reconnecting to the same match. Client will not save choose display preference when closing and reopening the application. Two useless things I don't give a fuck about. Bottom of the line. That's everything. So all in all, some of these issues are a big deal. These are things that hopefully by the full release of the game are fixed. They have roughly about 6 or 7 days from the day that they did the final stress test. You will be seeing gameplay of that, I think. I don't know. My editing skills are pretty horrendous, which you will see with this video. You know, to tie it all up with a nice little happy bow, I just had a full brain fart. To tie this up at the end here. Look. You can claim to be a coding guru, a game developing genius, the prodigy of the 20th century when it comes to creating games, but bottom of the line, you probably have no idea how a lot of this stuff works. If you do, cool. Then you understand what it's like to work as a cohesive team with the rest of everyone around you to try to make sure that a lot of these things run. It's frustrating, it's difficult. You have consumers that are constantly biting on your ankles, screaming for more, saying, "Daddy, you didn't release me something that made my little clit twitch." So I guess what I'm really trying to say at the end of the day is they're gonna do their best. We are in a state of gaming where everything is released unfinished, and it's very frustrating, especially for the consumer. So you'd think they'd almost become a little bit desensitized to the fact that most games are going to release with problems. Killing Floor is no exception, unfortunately. Hopefully a lot of their issues get fixed. I'm frustrated with it too, but you also, as a consumer, have to understand that it's like, I guess with Tripwire here, they're at least being transparent about it. I wish more games would do this because transparency is what makes me feel like there's a little bit of loyalty between consumer and developer. So I want to see that more, to be honest with you, because if you gave me a list of all of the bad things in the game with a list of all of the good things in the game that are working, I am much more likely to weigh my options and still buy the game. Unfortunately, this world, as far as the development scene, actually just the world in general, is built on dishonesty and tricking everybody because everything's a cash grab. It's a gotcha game. It's a buy my battle pass and so on and so forth, which is really frustrating. I will be buying Killing Floor 3 and I will probably play a couple hundred hours of it, but that's one, because I'm a fan of the franchise, previous games, and two, because of their transparency to show me these are the problems with it. So I will still be enjoying Killing Floor 3 and shooting a lot of things and running around in circles for 30 minutes to kill that one Scrake that's been chasing me because I have no ammo in my Pyre 357 and it's still bugged and not working. Anyway, that's pretty much everything. That's all I wanted to say. Be nicer to the developers, unless they're absolute pieces of shit like Blizzard. But yeah, be nicer to the developers, and toodles. Have a good day. That's about it.